And welcome to the SmackDown review. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture. WhatCulture, here to review everything that happened on this weekend's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Why do I forget it on this one?
Where we do daily wrestling podcasts. We're not going to review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to review this week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown.
Something else.
And I hate to sound like a broken record, but another great episode of SmackDown.
I love the season opener and season finale of good 3-hour SmackDowns because what a way to celebrate the news of the first one, probably end to end, that I earnestly enjoyed. 24 hours later, reading that Road Dogg's got the wheel now.
Yeah.
So that was a hell of a run, wasn't it?
We've got 4 months till they go back to 2 hours. We'll be all right.
AJ Styles was at pains to say, hey guys, shut the freak up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe his ideas weren't his ideas no more when they went through the filter of a crazy old McMahon. Like, you're telling on yourself by going to that length to defend him, aren't you? Like,
and I've heard his takes when it's just him talking.
Yeah. Surely if you're AJ Styles and you want to stand up for the Road Dogg, like, you can't even get the hats and T-shirts for that. And for whatever, you've seen all this discourse kicking around, all negative, about the Road Dogg getting the SmackDown head writer's job back. Just saying nothing, and that's the loudest defense, right? Just just get on the phone to your pal Brian. Brian, don't listen to him. You go out there and do the best you can. That's the house that AJ and Brian built. AJ and D-O-double-G.
Yeah.
Like,
the doghouse.
Just do that. Don't go on Twitter. Stop calling him yeah? Like, just the idea that his biggest and most vocal defender is out there acknowledging that people think he's crap, that he hasn't even started on shift. And if he has, it's basically the people that were going, oh, this is terrible. They were over there. They weren't the only ones. There was also a subsection of people over here going, oh, he's probably had it a while, and that explains why SmackDown's been rubbish. Like, it was this immediate, I can see clearly now, the Road Dogg's back, as if to explain why SmackDown's kind of gone off the boil a bit this year. It was L's all over the shop, really, wasn't it?
But I was in such a good mood about this SmackDown as well.
This episode, yeah, good stuff.
I messaged you about it over the weekend.
Good stuff. Like this a lot.
I knew this show was going to be good from the moment it started because it opens and we get the recap of everything that's happened last week or whatever. Maybe I got this in the wrong order, but yeah, recap of Jay and Cody and Jacob Fatu and the return of Solo Sikoa, all that.
Quick one on that, because I know what you're building up to. Wade Barrett is doing the intro.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, you say, Wade's got a great voice, a fabulous orator. Always has been, but it's interesting that he's doing this. Just before you press the button and get hyped about the thing I know you want to get hyped about, like, as the camera, as it always does in every WWE city now, pans over a beautifully lit city, an American landscape, whichever one it is, happened to be Washington, D.C. this week. Didn't love Wade Barrett referring to it as whatever it was, a democratic tranquility or something like that. It's like, well, it isn't always like that, is it? And who caused it the last time? So I found that a little bit tough to stomach, but then, But
then immediately we get ourselves a...
Teachable moment! Teachable moment!
Thanks for coming, Michael Cole. Vic Joseph will take it from here.
Mm-hmm.
You did a great job.
Good night. We would be remiss if we did not say, of course, these were they not the original 2.0 pairing? Vic and
yes!
Wade. So there's pre-existing chemistry from
was
a fabulous
an assignment? That was their usual...
Yeah, Joe Tessa taught, like...
Say you're on holiday.
I'm sure he had some other tasks as well. He does proper jobs for a living. That's why he's so good at WWE commentaries, because he's legit. So Vic Joseph.
Wait, it's not Joe, it's not Cole, isn't what am I talking about?
Yeah. It's Joe and Friday
Sorry,
night.
Joe.
Another commentator, Wade Barrett, has built up excellent chemistry. So yeah, these were great. Enjoyed these.
We go straight into, like I say, a recap of the Solo return, etc. And out comes our world champion, Cody Rhodes. And he grabs a microphone, huge reaction, of course, and says, what do you guys want to talk about?
I'd say that.
Because we could, he says, talk about Mania and how his opponent is now definitely going to be confirmed via the Elimination Chamber. And he sort of runs through the people who've already qualified. He talks about controversial Logan Paul and gets booed. His good friend, CM Punk, please. Also Drew McIntyre and, one of the greatest of all time, John Cena. But he'd rather talk about someone it's not going to be who he faces at WrestleMania, and that is Solo Sikoa, who's out in the cold for the Chamber, and he thinks that the spike he got last week wasn't really for him. This was the moment I was like, vindication! But Drew McIntyre interrupts, and he comes out and says, also Drew McIntyre. He's not happy about the way he's introduced by Cody. So Cody's like, you know what, that's fair. I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, also Drew McIntyre, and gets the reaction you expect. So Drew fires back, running down his resume, 2 Elimination Chamber wins, 3 world titles, Money in the Bank, etc., etc. And Cody responds by saying, look, I can count on one hand the men who've beat me since I came back, and you're one of them, and I haven't forgotten. This brings out Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Yeah! The crowd love Jacob Fatu, obviously. Mm-hmm. He's all gas, no brakes, as Adam Nicholas loves. And he says he's going to dog walk through Damian Priest and Braun Strowman, then the Elimination Chamber, then world title, bring that back to the family, etc., etc. Drew's like, do these people want to see a psychopath and a werewolf throw down tonight? People are loving it. Yeah, let's see it. Well, that's not going to happen. I'm going to the chamber. I'm going to risk my bloody life against Jacob Fatu. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.
You take it from me.
Yeah. He leaves. There's just the menace on Jacob Fatu. You can't make this up.
No.
Like some other people circling Cody Rhodes, you'd be like, just cut the promo, mate. Mm-hmm. But it felt like he's just sizing him up.
I just want to. You've reminded me of something that I would have forgotten about otherwise, because I was just in awe of it on Saturday morning when, by the way, I watched this with my kids because they asked if we could start the day with the wrestling. A Saturday morning thing is happening. Jacob circles Cody, and it's shot in such a way that you feel like, as the heels, he's trying to bring Cody so that Tama Tonga's on Cody's blind spot. But Jacob's no coward. He'll kill you to your face. So he just keeps walking.
And Cody did a good job of following him with his eyes.
Cody, that's it. He's in that thing where he's trying to stay on one spot, but head on a swivel. WWE love that. Mm-hmm. He's going like that the whole way. And then you think, don't turn your back on Tama Tonga, because that's what Jacob's aiming to do here. No. Jacob just keeps walking all the way back around. And Cody, again, has had to keep one eye on Tama, assuming that the sneak attack is coming. But no, Jacob just wants him to know that it's his ring now. And Cody sort of stood like, what's that incredible Dead Man Shoes bit? You're right there, mate.
Here, mate.
Right there. And that's what
hit you.
Jacob's wanting to do to Cody, and just he's intimidating, he's stood in the corner, but it's me that you've got to worry about. Really, really well shot, this.
But Cody acknowledges Jacob Fatu, says, look, you qualify for the chamber, you win the match, we'll fight over the title at WrestleMania. And then suddenly on the big screen they realise someone's pulling up. Who could it be? It's Solo Sikoa. And Cody goes to go out after him, obviously. Jacob Fatu just puts his hand across him and says, if anyone's talking to Solo, it's me. Family business. And Cody says, Jacob, you can have the first word, but I will have the last.
Oh, my God.
Love this opening.
This was excellent. End to end excellent. And I'm just going to go in reverse order initially, because Solo Sikoa kind of looked the business in his white suit.
Yeah.
And if that was the first illustration of who's potentially going to be cast as the babyface in this latest Bloodline civil branch of a Civil War tree, ultimately, because there's more fights to be had on the branches, let alone fights on the original roots. So I don't know if that's going to work long term, but I can see why they would want to do it, because if anyone's going to just look weak to the point of sympathetic, it's Solo. Jacob right now he's too good for his own good.
Yeah.
He's becoming beloved in these buildings. However, they might be able to do an angle so dense with hatred and heat so that Solo could be a sympathetic babyface. Maybe.
Either way, I think this is the way that the direction they're heading, obviously, with what happened on this show, and I love it.
I think they've got it. I think they've got it for WrestleMania, haven't they?
Have we sufficiently reassured you with regards to the return of Solo Sikoa now? I know you were worried last week.
I just don't want to watch Solo and Cody again, but I think if it's a means to an end for Solo versus Jacob at WrestleMania, which is what all this is in service of, fine. Yeah. Let's do that. Drew and Cody, and then into Drew and Jacob, was what I am still, I don't want to say fighting for this title with WWE. We're heading into WrestleMania. The Fed's on fire, but I do have concerns about sort of Just to meet the long-term storytelling at the moment, but this was a reminder of how good it can all still be. Drew McIntyre referencing the hug that he gave Cody in this, like, I'm on your side, pal. Hey, pal. God, I'm here for you. I'm on your side, pal. And then immediately, like, letting him potentially get his ass handed to him by Jacob and Tama was like that inspired character stuff that's ultimately got Drew to where he is and made him the promo of the year, thanks to Wrestling Observer Awards 2024. And Cody acknowledging the defeat leaves that one there because you sense down the line they're going to go back to Cody and Drew in a meaningful way. And not that I think people have forgotten that because Cody hasn't been beaten a lot, but it's worth it coming back up now because if you're going post-WrestleMania realistically to Drew and Cody, the first thing you want to lean on is the fact that Drew's beaten him.
It could be anyone from the Chamber. It's Cena or Punk. Yeah. But it could be anyone.
Exactly. So he's just because he's not a right now guy, it doesn't mean that when it is his time to get back to Cody, with or without the belt, there's your big hook. I've beaten you, pal. It makes you think I can't beat you again. Like, there it is. And the idea that Drew is going to play angel and devil on Cody's shoulder at any point he wants. It's good mixing in from Drew McIntyre to kind of further rattle Cody as we continue to tell the bigger story that kind of started with the Punk promo of, I know what happens when you get about 300 days in, mate. Yeah, kind of start to lose it. That exists too. Like, this is really good overlapping storytelling stuff that feeds 3 or 4 different programs, and it's the stuff you want.
Yeah, and if that's the direction, like if, as I'm hoping, and I know other people are hoping for other results at Elimination Chamber, if Punk wins, you're not like giving it away, because imagine Punk wins the title from Cody at WrestleMania, and Cody's like, all right, I've got to get back to him, and he has to fight Drew, and it's like, well, Cody either rematches Punk or you get the feud of the year from 2024
for a belt. Like one more go around for a title this time. Or seeing as Road Dogg's got the book again, like a food fight.
Yeah, or like a karaoke.
Yes, dance off. all good. It's all good stuff.
It's all dog stuff.
Well, it's all 3 of his ideas.
I did also like the bit post-break. We see Tama Tonga storming backstage, asking a stagehand or whatever, have you seen where Solo went? And he's like, yeah, no worries, mate. He went that way. He's like, job done. Yeah, gets killed by Jacob Fatu.
He helped.
But I helped you. I told you where he was.
Say for the people that don't help, if that's what, you know.
Yeah, do I talk to you or not talk to you? What am I supposed to do?
What's the rules, Jacob?
Yeah. And then we're about to get a Women's Elimination Chamber qualifier, Naomi versus Chelsea Green. But before that, Wade's at ringside with Trish Stratus, talking about the Elimination Chamber. It's in Toronto. Mm-hmm. It's Canada. She's Canadian.
She's a Torontonian.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And she's going to be there, but it remains to be seen whether she's going to be in ring or not, but not for much longer.
Loved where this went.
Yeah. So Naomi versus Chelsea Green. Naomi's got her friend, Bianca Belair, there with her, and Chelsea Green has her head of security, Piper Niven, who always looks the business. Yeah. Out there doing a lot of wafting spots in this match, which I like.
It's just a good act, isn't it, at this point?
So Naomi obviously dominates early on. She kicks Green down, hits the split splash, gets another near fall, gets a running Meteora for a 2 count. Chelsea Green gets sent outside, but a Piper Niven distraction allows Chelsea to come back with a pump kick as we go to a break. When we come back, Naomi flies back with a crossbody off the top, a bulldog and a scissor kick to get a 2 count. She hits a heat seeker but misses the split-legged moonsault. And Green hits a Rough Rider for a 2. Then Green hits Naomi with a backstabber for another near fall. She tries to do that awesome spot where she flips off the top to set up the unprettier, but Naomi gets out of it, kicks Green, hits her with an X Factor, and the split-legged moonsault gets the 1, 2, 3. Naomi qualifies to the Elimination Chamber.
Don't know why Judgment Day always rocks up when Naomi wrestles, but this was fine. There was a couple of moments of, I don't know if it was indecision or lack of chemistry, which I didn't expect from these two.
Yeah.
Like, especially early on, took a little while to get going. And I will kind of repeat the take for the women's title match later on. This is evidence, I think, that for a little while now, from a storytelling point of view, SmackDown's women's division has been getting on track. I think you're looking for the in-ring a bit more on Raw, but character-wise, we picked this up, I would say, from like late last year, and you're seeing how they're a lot more fleshed out on SmackDown, because I would say both matches really, really struggled to get out of the gate. Fans stayed with them and then powered them to better matches by the end. And on Raw, you've almost got the opposite problem.
Yeah.
Often decent wrestling is happening to total silence. and this got there too. Like, can we jump ahead to the big moment for Naomi and Bianca?
Yeah.
Is that because not that I want to brush past the match. And by the way, let's measure the good with the bad. Both secondary champions losing qualifiers for the big title match. Do something with that. Acknowledge that. Like, maybe address your champions' failings or try and book around that or the pressure of being champion or something. Because I just think it's a bit of a bad look optics-wise to have your secondary title.
You have to have them beat them. You've got plenty of other women.
But there was a major storyline development which absolutely justifies Naomi's win.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, so skipping ahead to later on in the show, the SmackDown GM, can't remember what his name is, has called Bianca and Naomi into his office, and because he's been sent a video, shot on a cell phone, sent in anonymously, which is apparently going to shed some light on the whole Jade Cargill attack. Remember that? And is it? I will say I was obviously focused on Naomi, who was a bit like, oh, great, new footage. But the footage shows as Jade's being loaded into the ambulance many, many moons ago. There is the silhouettes of Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And Naomi straight away, I bloody knew it. I said, didn't I? Bianca's right there with her because why wouldn't she be? Of like, God damn it. I suspected them. They're bloody responsible for what happened to Jade. And they are. You're right. There's no one else. That proves it. If anything, walking vaguely nearby when an ambulance is getting loaded, and that's basically conclusive evidence, right? And they're heading to Raw tonight, as it is now, to confront them about that.
Yeah, we touched on the hows, wheres, and whys of the reality behind this whole whodunit situation on the Raw preview, which you can check out wherever you get your podcasts. I just want to add, the point of Naomi mentioning the word framing, I think for the first time. People have been trying to frame me. It was like, that's never come up out of any of the characters' mouths until, see, I don't know, everyone's trying to frame me, I'm sick of this. And even SmackDown GM, I can't remember his name, but he was making some point of, well, we don't know, I wanted to show you this because I want to help.
Yeah.
And some anonymous tips are sent in, but this proves something and it also proves nothing, all of this. Don't be hasty, but it was like, no, let's be hasty, let's be hasty on toast, in fact, let's get them straight away. So I quite like this as like a narrative development, at least for the Naomi. Is she being framed? What's going on here? Like, for nothing else, heats up what was already a hot feeling tag title match between these two and Liv and Raquel. I like this bit of booking in general. I kind of want to, I don't know if this has got the legs, but I kind of want to see if they can make this to WrestleMania.
You mentioned this on the Raw preview, and I like that as a pitch, but I don't know whether I do kind of want Jade to come back before then, so I'm conflicted. With Jade Cargill being out as long as she's been out, it's been hard to know whether or not a WrestleMania match is the thing or a reveal is the thing.
We'll probably get more as the weeks go on. And some development was just nice because there has been a lack of that over recent weeks.
Love it if tonight they're like, we knew it was you. And Liv and Raquel, like you said, are like, we've done some bad stuff in the past, but that's not us. I mean, it could be anybody. It could be you, Naomi. Not me, is it? Unfortunately, walking vaguely in an ambulance.
I will say as well, what I observed from this was, even wrestlers were pretty excited watching SmackDown on a big screen.
The best way to consume it, in my opinion.
Do you think?
Don't go. Well, don't waste your hard-earned cash on that. Save money, and if there's any way to watch it with a group of friends or complete strangers, do that instead in a sort of I'm a big fan of hype. And there's nothing bigger than the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas, Michael Hamflett.
You're not going to believe this.
What? You haven't said it yet.
Yeah. You're not going to believe this, Wilbourn.
What?
Yeah, well...
Sorry, what?
Well, Wilbourn, if you like watching SmackDown on a bigger screen, pick the biggest screen in Las Vegas, Nevada that we're aware of. For the biggest and best watch-along in all of Las Vegas for SmackDown as part of the biggest WhatCulture live show ever. It's happening
There we go.
Thank you. It's happening on April 18th at the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, obviously, we're going to be doing a live show before the SmackDown watch-along. If you are going to SmackDown, there's ages to get yourself along to SmackDown.
Plenty
yourself,
of time.
Because we're at the HyperX Arena. It's basically the closest venue to where SmackDown is taking place at the T-Mobile. Your ticket will get you into our live show. Then you can watch the watch-along with us for SmackDown. Then you can stick around afterwards for Simon Miller doing the live ups and downs of that SmackDown, which will be filmed for YouTube that you can be a part of. Then me and him and anyone else are going to preview WrestleMania 41, one of the biggest preview podcasts of the year. And it's Las Vegas, Nevada, so we'll be just out late. There's going to be ample opportunities to do meet and greets and hangs and drinks and all that sort of stuff. What happens at What Culture Live stays at What Culture Live, unless you're posting it on your socials, because it's going to be the best time. And Wilbourn, if you're thinking, well, that's great, but we're a UK-based podcast, the number one UK-based podcast. What about our UK listeners and viewers?
Yeah.
Well, you can come and see us on the What Culture World Tour.
What?
The first. Well, I know. I'm surprised you're so surprised. You're on it. You're really integral. You're very, very involved.
I posted links to that, yeah.
Yeah. We're going to be playing Manchester, Belfast, Glasgow and London. If WWE are in town, we are too. And again, just like Las Vegas, there's going to be plenty of time to get yourself over to the WWE house shows taking place in those cities. It's the perfect opportunity to meet, drink, have some fun and games with other wrestling fans and us doing all this YouTube nonsense on the stage. Again, ample chances for Q&As, meet and greets, all that good stuff. Selfies, the whole shebang. Miller's going to be doing whys and ups and downs. We're going to be doing live podcasts, all on-stage versions of the stuff that we do on the channel. If you've been to one of our live shows before, you know how it goes down. If you've never been, get yourself along. Yeah. Tickets available, whatculture.com/tickets.
As I've said, I've come up with a little bit of a catchphrase for this. Yeah. What culture is now in your city?
I like that. I like that. I thought you were going to say something else, but I'm glad you said that.
Back to SmackDown, and we see a very still Sami Zayn, just sitting upright, not moving his neck whatsoever. He is recovering from
2002 Triple H without the flex.
Kevin Owens package pile driver the other week.
Packets pile driver.
Yeah.
Just pile driver on a load of crisps. I love that.
He's not doing great, understandably. His neck's messed up, nerve damage and that sort of thing. He's still trying to come to terms with what happened with Owens. Yes, it is a joke now how many times that they've turned on each other, but this one feels different. This wasn't about sending a message or getting ahead. This was about Kevin Owens trying to end his career. And over what? A wrestling match? Not understanding friendship? Did you not see Sami out there with tears in his eyes checking on his best friend? But no. Apparently, he would only be a true friend to Kevin Owens if he pushed Cody Rhodes off the ladder and helped him win the world title. But long and short of it is, Sami is not sure about when he will be cleared, but when he is, he and Owens will go at it again, and it won't be fun.
I mean, it's, again, I hate like making you jump around, but it feels like a first half for two-part of this, doesn't it?
Yes.
Great promo, but yeah, Kevin Owens.
Later on before the world title match, Kevin Owens is in his car. He's not doing good either. In the last 6 months, his heart has been broken by 3 men he considered brothers, men he'd taken a bullet for. Sami has no idea what real pain is, but he's going to show him. If he wants to go at it again, does Sami, then Owens will oblige him in Canada where it all started for them. Elimination Chamber, cleared or not, Sami can find Owens and come to know real pain.
Excellent promos from 2 men that prove themselves like the most valuable like wrestlers, show sellers that WWE have this generation and maybe had ever. I cannot get enough of these 2 at the moment. And what's brilliant, I guess, from a promotional standpoint is that you always are left wanting a little bit more from them. Like right now, as we record this on a Monday, you're left with a cliffhanger of, well, what does cleared or not cleared mean? Is Elimination Chamber going to be an angle masquerading as a match that sets up the real match at WrestleMania? Are they just going to have a straight-up wrestling match in front of one of the largest crowds, well, the largest Canadian crowd they could wrestle in front of, a dream for both of them, that requires escalation so that they go again at WrestleMania and it's class all over again? Who knows? But I will take anything from them with the security and certainty that they will make it amazing.
Yeah.
Because they're doing it again here, aren't they? You point out Sami's lack of movement as opposed to Kevin sat in his flash car, which theoretically is like the site of all this heartbreak that he's suffering through. But he will not be moved on the fact that he is in the right about this. You know, he's just, you can't see any spirit of compromise in Kevin Owens, and yet you can see regret in Sami Zayn's attitude towards all of this.
Looks so feeble.
Yeah, and he knows how to play that. And again, clear or no clear makes you feel like they're going to do a brilliant job with making it seem like whatever happens at Elimination Chamber, it's against doctor's orders, which is good babyface stuff.
And I forgot to mention what jacket that Kevin Owens was wearing in his car.
He's wearing his latest Bret the Hitman Hart number, another stunning pink number. Again, he's leaning in, as he kind of foreshadowed in the run-up to the Royal Rumble, like they're going hard with the Canadian babyface stuff because he believes himself to be the good guy of the 2 of them when he's going to get booed when he faces Sami. It's exceptional stuff.
What if Bret, a la Bret and John Cena and Mr. McMahon, help Sami pretend that he's hurt?
I happen to watch I think it must have been the 15th anniversary of the segment on Raw. Yeah, we're in February. That would be about right. I happened to watch the exact segment where Bret gets attacked, only to reveal like a month later, John had some friends in the film industry that could let me set it up. And I'm watching it thinking, his friends aren't that talented. He's obviously not been in Hollywood that long because it just looks like a shoot attack, mate.
Yeah, is a car reversed into his leg or something? Yeah. I did love that. I loved the build to that match, and then the match was dreadful.
It was a sad old time.
I felt sorry for Vince McMahon at one point.
I loved, there was a picture.
Didn't they do the pivot the night before? They're like, well, what if all the Bretts are what if all the hearts are on my side?
It was literally in the promo before the match. He was like, but all your stinking family are easy to pay off, so now they're on my team. And then Bret comes out, he's like, how could you do this to me? Twist, they didn't. And there's just 20 people beating him up. Cathartic for a minute.
Yeah.
You wrap up and get the hell out there. What I love and hate in equal measure is a picture after WrestleMania 26, and it's like sepia tinged. Like on WWE.com, it's like somebody's dropped the tea bag and set fire to the corners of it, so it looks like an old treasure map. And it's of Bret and Shawn like shaking hands. They've both had big nights at WrestleMania for the first time since WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man, because Shawn didn't work WrestleMania 13 and Bret was gone. So this is their first time they both worked a match. I was going to say they both work a match they're proud of, but they like the Iron Man match. They're the only two that do. But so they're shaking hands, and Bret's had this not of his own doing, nightmare with Vince McMahon. And, I'm sure he felt something to be out there from the crowd. And the crowd is supportive in spite of how it was really, real bad. And Shawn's just absolutely tore the house down in his last ever match with The Undertaker. It was like, I think you're the best there is right now. Never mind ever will be. And the roster needs you. Why are you retiring, Shawn? Don't go away.
Don't go.
Yeah. And they couldn't be I've just had different experiences out there. But it's it's nice and present to Shawn. Glad they had their friendship and glad they've sort of been able to heal old wounds by basically Shawn saying, yeah, he's probably right. I did them all. I'm really sorry.
I just was meant to mention there when you were talking about this. I know WWE have had a sensational few years, obviously, with bringing Cody in, getting Punk to come back, gates, money, etc. I don't really care about that sort of thing, but it's awesome to see when it's packed out and what have you. Is one of the top 10 things that WWE have done in the last 3 years holding on to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? Because there was a long time where you and I and Sid would sit here and go, yeah, look at the WWE right now. Their mates are in AEW. They feel like the next logical jumps. Mm-hmm. And they've convinced them to stay with incredible carrots that they've dangled in front of them. But I mean, my word, they've always, as you've said, sort of survived the WWE system in spite of some of their booking, and now they are thriving.
They're both, I might be slightly out on the dates here, but they're both early 2022 renewals, I think. And what's interesting about that, of course, timing-wise, it's a bit like Cody signing when he did, is that they know what contract they're signing back in early 2022. They're signing to work for Vince McMahon and all the potential pitfalls of that. And I remember at the time, them going, if you think about that AEW 2021, them moving felt like a certainty, like an absolute sure thing. They've had great runs in WWE in spite of factors. Now they can go to AEW and do the passion project stuff. And then they both re-sign with WWE, and it kind of surprises folk. And look at the first WrestleMania after they re-sign.
I was going to say, it's funny the carrots that got dangled in front of them. Kevin, you can have Stone Cold Steve Austin in the main event of WrestleMania. Sammy, do you want to have some fun with Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah, and in their own way, they both steal the show. And again, it's both of them. It's always both of them. They both do it. And then obviously they're kind of rewarded for loads of amazing stuff, but eating platefuls along the way. They're rewarded for basically somebody that loves them and values them in Triple H.
Yeah.
Getting the book in mid-2022 and immediately understanding the value of the pair of them and getting Sami Zayn over as a babyface again within the bloodline and bringing back the old theme as it did in early 2023. And I was thinking today about War Games 2022 when Sami turned on Kevin within the match to prove his loyalty to the bloodline. And that's still scanning as the right thing for him to do. Yeah. Even though it should have been a heel turn, there is a passion embedded in the WWE audience and the independent audience that watch them in Ring of Honor and PWG that all come together for Kevin. And they are so valuable, even if neither of them are ever positioned as the absolute tippy-top guy.
It is funny because in the discussions around, why are they doing this? We talked about this earlier. Why are they doing this at the Chamber? Because it could just be all done and dusted at the Chamber, and you do, I don't know, Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, for example. I don't know what Sami would do in that situation, but regardless, Like, it is funny that in the conversations of that, I haven't seen a single person go, yeah, but if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fight at this year's WrestleMania, there's no way they can do it at the next year's WrestleMania with Sami winning the Saudi Rumble. People are like, yeah, do it again the year after for me.
Yeah, you're never not booking them as opponents or tag partners.
Kevin Owens fighting authority, a bit like Sabre in Gladiators this week.
Yeah, I think we need to have a serious conversation about this, and I'm glad this platform exists for that very chat. I have enjoyed Sabre's work throughout the Gladiators.
I have as well.
Stop it. However, it's a family show, not Gladiators, this podcast. As you know, we keep it PG on this podcast. Disgusting. I agree. Has she been instructed to turn up the gimmick, or is she doing it thinking about the business and thinking about life post Gladiators? Because it's gone a little bit. I always use the same two examples. Like, Duke Droese was a bin man rather than somebody that sold the rigors of working on the bins when he was wrestling. He was just an actual bin man. Sabre's going a bit full cat for my liking. We're talking like Finn Balor 2020 here. Are you a cat? Do you have cat-like skills that make you a great gladiator, or are you just a shoot cat? Because it's getting a bit like, wow, I've got 9 lives, wow, and then scratching or whatever, cheating because she's like a cat.
I think Legend's coming for the Wolfman's title as well. Like, you've sort of got your new Roman Reigns there in Legend, and then Charlotte Flair as Sabre. Like the two leading...
I love Legend. And
I also really like the fact that Giant isn't even the tallest gladiator.
You took the words out of my 9-year-old son's life, who says this every week and is very angry when, what's he called?
Bionic?
Bionic, thank you, yeah.
We know our stuff.
Anabolic. He's 7'4" or something like that, and that's because his hair itself has an extra foot on top. He looks like he's jacked Sabre Jr., isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, not Sabre Jr. because that'd be Sabre. And I am loving. I told you this would happen last season, and I was patient, and my patience has been repaid. How much the locker room stuff is adding to the drama. I knew once they got comfy with that extra, it's like, you're not really off the clock. Do what you want in there, and if it's good, it'll get used.
Legend was being a dickhead, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Gladiators.
Nice work out there, asshole.
They've seen the Wolfman, and they know there's an autograph circuit to make money off of in the years after this all wraps up.
I have a suggestion, though, because I've noticed one fatal flaw in the booking of Gladiators.
Okay.
And that is, Brian, here comes your Photoshop, and I know you've done this before, but be generous. We're having some injuries, aren't we? Mm-hmm. People are pulling hammies or, breaking their arm.
Going to that traveller with a pulled hamstring, you felt it, didn't you? You couldn't approach it properly. You'd have to hop on.
Turn it off. Give him a chance.
Yeah.
Why don't we put ourselves as first alternates for the quarterfinals? So if someone gets an injury, we'll step in.
And the point of being an alternate is that there's simply no comparison. The person will defeat you, and you'll see how difficult the eliminator is because it's what it looks like.
Yeah, we'd be just the normal people doing it.
We're showing the TV.
Can't climb a wall that quickly.
Yeah, I can't climb a rope. Full stop. That's where.
Oh, I'd be screwed on that. Yeah.
I can't climb a rope. I don't think I could get over that first. You've got the under and then over. I don't think I can get over.
You.
Under. And it gives a minute. And then I need you to give me a leg up. And then I'm on the easy side. And then we're walking. I'm going to have to come underneath you. Well, a 2-person eliminator versus 1 regular contender.
Yeah, we tag team each.
I still don't think we could. I still don't think we could beat them.
Make it happen, BBC.
There was another thing I want to say about Gladiator. Surely we have to change.gov or something, whatever that, change.org, that petition thing where the House of Commons debate.
Can I guess what you're about to say?
Yes.
In regard to which event?
Yes.
Is it Unleash?
Yes.
Is it the stairs?
Yes!
We're effing.
We are effing. Awful rule. The momentum.
The Gladiators, and Louise Grett was furious. The Gladiator jumped up about 3 steps.
And the momentum, you're sprinting for your life out there. And you're just running for your life because there's a gladiator on your race. You've already had to knock down a brick wall, and it's like going through a ball pit or a kid's soft play or something.
We trip up, don't
dodge
we?
all the bricks. You get to the stairs, and then 100 miles an hour. You look like Danny Burch entering War Games in heels, trying to get up those steps one at a time. Honestly, it just kills the momentum of it's like, you know what would make this sprint to a finish better? Something akin to the offside rule. No, you can't do that. I don't think anybody likes it.
No,
I think it's a feeling.
It's the best event, though.
It's a national scandal.
That and the Edge.
Yeah, ruining an otherwise excellent event. Not the Edge.
By the way, Hang Tough this week.
Hang Tough.
Classic for
It's not been
Gladiators
used as
fans.
much in the reboot, and I think it's because a lot of the modern gladiators haven't really got to grips with it. No pun intended. But that contender this week,
Unbelievable.
flying gazelle. His body shape.
I'd 100% Drew McIntyre Claymore the Gladiator, by the way. Just kick him right in the face.
I'd be that kid on The Simpsons. I like to get down now. I had no momentum whatsoever.
Anyway, we see back on SmackDown footage of the latest inductee into the 2025 Hall of Fame, Michelle McCool. Congratulations to her. Hopefully soon to be joined by Victoria. She's
Layla. Cool.
Yeah.
I get why.
Nice.
I get that. I get stuff.
You get half a Hall of Fame ring each.
Yeah.
Put it together.
Yeah. Nice bit.
Yeah. And she's also involved in the brilliant new TV show that we are hoping to try and watch this week, LFG.
Yeah. Give that.
LFG by name and by nature.
Indeed.
Then it was time for the match we weren't really looking forward to on the preview. The Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza, and it kind of went exactly the way we thought it was going to do, kind of bog standard, straightforward. I mean, there's some good spots in there. I will say that, actually. I went in going, right, here we go. Motor City Machine Guns get the win, and they did. And it didn't help that it went to a break after about a minute when nothing had really happened. But Sabin gets the hot tag when we come back from the break. A drop kick off the top into a flatline and gets a near fall. Los Garza are great for a team that are always set up to lose in these sorts of matches. Garza holds Shelley in a power slam. Carrillo puts Sabin on Garza's shoulders as well, and then Carrillo springs off the ropes with a springboard kick for a nice near fall. Great sell as well from Humberto Carrillo. He went for a moonsault, but Shelley put the boots up and he just went flying backwards. They take him out on the floor with the plancha and, Angel Garza on the floor, and Sabin and Shelley hit the skull and bones on Carrillo and get the 1-2-3.
Do you remember, I'll try and pin down the exact date, 2002 to 2021 when WWE was mostly abysmal. And a lot of the time in the years that we were covering it, you'd be like, God, the wrestlers that get this company out of trouble sometimes. You'd be in the building. We've been at tapings where it's just, this is trash. This is so bad. And then one match just brings the building to its feet and everybody just gets really excited. And that was the time when the company was lucky to have wrestlers like these four, because this sort of match would like snap people out.
A good match breaks out.
Yeah. Snap people out the trance they were in and like waiting for the 2 or 3 stars or like people you actually connected with. You'd have this match. And then that'd be the thing to talk about. It's like, well, do you know what though? But like somehow they're still housing some of the best wrestlers in the world. Nobody needs that now. Like you are.
This was the personification of 3-hour SmackDown. Let's just get another match out there.
Yeah, like they are kind of using and abusing that because the fans were just dead for all of this. And it's so tragic to watch in a hot time, freezing cold wrestling. And this might sound like a repetition of the same complaint we have all the time on these shows, but it's not as if, I don't like what the direction of the tag division, but it's not as if there hasn't been some direction. There are these backstage
Buzzing for the Street Profits. Their promo later was incredible.
Great. Again, like I've got high hopes for that. But the DIY stuff, all of this, like, just don't care. Like, figure this out. Start again. Sit down and like give these people characters. Give them catchphrases. Give them whatever you think.
Yeah.
Just throw a load of shit at them. Just something. I think that point in WCW where DDP had about 16 different gimmicks. He's got a cigar and he's won the lottery and he's got the diamond cutter and a big hat or whatever. I don't know. Just like...
It's going to be one of those, it's going to be all right. If they do like as we're suggesting, maybe like a 4-way ladder match, it is going to be really good and all right on the night. But when we look back on it, we'll be like, what did they do for the preceding 4 months prior to this?
Well, ultimately, I suppose you can get away with that when it's probably going to be the only multi-man match on the card. It's probably nothing to worry about.
We get a Damian Priest vignette. WrestleMania on Friday was 64 days away, which means it's just over 60 now. Very excited for that. And then we cut to Solo Sikoa. Well, Sikoa's just in the dressing room. He's dressed all in white, as you mentioned. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga go in to see him. And Fatu asks what the hell's going on. Solo ghosted him, of course. Solo said, look, I needed some time off. I need some time away. I lost the Ulafala. I wasn't myself anymore. I know I let everyone down, but I'm okay now. I'm ready to go and take over just like before. But we can only do this together. And he's like, you go, win this qualifier tonight, win the chamber, go to WrestleMania and win the title. Fatu's not sure about all this. And Solo just says, I loves you, Jacob.
He did. That's what he said.
Fatu walks off and Tama just looks at him.
Yep.
What did he say? Sorry, your microphone wasn't working again.
So he puts his hand, as Fatu goes to leave, he puts his hand across to him and he goes, I loves you, Jacob. That's what he said.
That's how, delivery style was perfect.
Thank you.
Don't really do bits or impressions on this podcast.
He sounds just like Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Family, innit?
Yeah.
So,
It's like when I used to pick up the phone at home and they'd be like, "Oh, hello, Chris." I'm like, "No, it's his son." Hello, Wilbourn residents.
Did you ever, God, this is aging us. Did you ever recite your phone number back?
I was about to say it and I stopped myself there.
That's weird, isn't it? Like,
Hello, Chesterfield. And no, I'm not going to say there.
Yeah, that's all. Chesterfield.
Yeah, we all know what the preceding number for that is, right?
What?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things you just pick it up off your parents. It's the Nog End thing all over again.
Name the place and then the number.
Yeah, like someone's like, "Oh God, I've rung the wrong one."
Not America. You're calling over state lines. Like anybody calling from Mansfield? Oh bloody hell, we got Chesterfield.
I remember thinking what a rebel I was once when I just went, "Hello." I to pick the phone up.
Got bollocking off your parents. Don't ever do that again.
What was the person on the other end? Who the hell am I talking to?
You recite the number that the person just dialed in order to get through to this number as soon as you answer that phone, young man.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. It was a weird. I've never heard the bit where you name the place as well.
Yeah.
That's
Represent.
Nicholas.
I was actually past. It was the reciting the number bit was gone by the time I was answering the phone. So
Yeah. Very early
We're
days
old.
of my phone answering career. That
no, I
was,
think
isn't
you would have been the tier end of it, like the tail end of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then like 5 years later, little old me comes along and just
Hello. We don't say that when you answer the phone.
Excuse you. Just hang up immediately. Well, I'm not talking to them. No, thank you.
I feel like at some point on one podcast, you're going to have to open it with like, Chesterfield!
The innovation of 1471 as well. A game changer.
Yeah.
That's like the first version of like being able to screen your calls at home. Well, don't answer it anymore. You leave it and do 1471. Like, and that's how your parents taught you about ghosting. So,
Then you learn how to do the bit where you block your own number.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
141.
Yeah, and spend hours prank calling people.
Hello, have you got any walls in your house? No, my ceiling's going to fall in a minute, mate.
We've all watched The Simpsons. We've watched Bart ringing the pub at Moore's so many times. You're like, well, I'm having a bit of that. 141, let's go.
just picturing you doing it but getting it wrong. Like calling the other phone in your house and your dad picks up and goes, Chesterfield. Oh, sorry, Dad. Or like, I'll prank call. Give me 9. Can I have an ambulance, please? Yeah, certainly. So why? Legs falling off. Got him.
For all the viewers at home, don't call the
Don't ever do it.
and prank call.
Prank calls in general, especially not emergency services.
Leave it to the professionals.
Do not listen to who sung that song. Someone please call 911. Don't do that unless you've got an actual emergency.
Somebody call 911.
No, different 911.
Shorty fire burning on the dance floor. Whoa.
That's up there with the most.
Sean
Adam
Kingston, is that? I think.
That's up there with the most Adam Wilbourn songs ever.
Yeah,
I think.
that's a very The Beach VK fueled song.
I now know this to be true, yeah. Like DJ in a speedboat. DJ in a speedboat, I know, it's Chesterfield.
Who was it?
What's that?
Sorry,
Sorry,
I thought you were Googling these
No, I
songs.
was actually thinking of this whole thing was making me think of that Weird Al Yankovic version of what's the Waterfalls? Don't go making phony phone calls was his like.
Nice.
Don't go making phony phone calls.
It was Sean Kingston who did Fire Burning, but I don't
That's
know
not
what song
the-
you're
there's
referencing.
a-
Let us know in the comments.
Oh, I'm gutted I missed that because that's
Someone
got
please call
relevance to
911. Tell them I just been shot down and the bullet's in my heart. That was
Oh.
the lyrics. I can't remember. Because then they had to change it to 999 for UK release because apparently we're all thick and we would have got the gist.
So you're saying it was 911 all along?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Not the boy band.
Oh, is it Wyclef Jean?
Wyclef, thank you very much. It wouldn't come off friggin' head. Yeah, not the boy band. You got my body shaking. Different 911.
Into my soul.
It was Spike, Lee, Jimmy. We're all in our 40s.
911. Not in the UK. Obviously, that wouldn't get the right number, but, you know.
They're massive. You know how like there's this thing where like David Hasselhoff's used in Germany or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a part of the world, I forget where they are like enormous and like still do numbers to this day.
Really?
They did like a
And also the fact that Spike is called Simon.
they did like a collaboration, just like I was on that boy bands documentary on the BBC, a collaboration a couple of years ago.
Very popular in Southeast Asia.
Aye, and they've like singles still get released to this day and whatever, and it's just the money keeps rolling. The money train in 911.
Yeah, 2013 they released Illuminate, the hits and more. So,
What else are you going to put on?
oh, they Yeah, they are, big in Southeast Asia. They played Kuala Lumpur with a sold-out show and did a song with a Vietnamese singer in 2023.
Aye, it was
good
big.
to know. Mm-hmm. The more you know.
All the best, Spike Lee and Jimmy.
Simon. Right, from Spike and Simon to Shinsuke, who comes out.
God.
And says, I've been waiting for 4 weeks for anyone to grow a spine and challenge me, but no warriors have emerged. And immediately, LA Knight.
Yeah.
Comes straight out. I was like, yeah, I mean, I've been waiting to fight you. What are you talking about? A load of bollocks.
Sorry,
I'm calling BS.
Who just came out, sorry?
Sorry, it was LA Knight.
Yeah.
He had him beat, says Knight, until half the Isles of Samoa and Tonga interfered. And since then, Knight has been beating everybody and wants another shot at the title. And the Miz shows up. And he says, you know what? Hands up. I was wrong a year ago when I said you were a fad, because here you are, fans eating out your hand. Which proves,
eating out your hair there. It's like a bit of Slim Jim in his hair. It's like, well,
the fans are idiots, he says. You're not educated. You're basic. I see what Nakamura sees. No one else is worthy. And Knight's like, shut up, Miz. He does a very good impression of Miz running down his resume, which is spot on, to be fair, and says he hasn't been relevant in 10 years, which is ironically the same amount of time he's been doing this tired old thing. But he's glad to see Miz, because to be honest, he forgot he was here. Maybe you should pull a Cena and announce a farewell tour. And Miz, you're being nasty. Men can cry now, no? So maybe I should cry. And Knight's like, brilliant. Ruined that thing that I did last week. But it's just like you to miss the point. You and Drew McIntyre are running neck and neck as the biggest crybaby bitches.
I mean, they're still having the cake and eating it with this thing, aren't they? Every week.
It's okay for men to cry, but if you do, you're a bitch.
Yeah, what is it? Which is it, LA?
Miz says, look, well, yes, I tout my resume, because at least I've been to the top. You can't measure up to me. When the dust settles, what I've achieved will stand for itself. If Cena can call his shot, then so can I. I want a US title match. I want to elevate the title and forge my way to WrestleMania. I've got a flashback to like 2016. I'll elevate the title. What are we doing here? But Knight is really good here. He just laughs at him and says, let's not forget that Logan Paul and Shinsuke Nakamura have fewer title defenses than I did. I did it every bloody week, basically. The title needs me more than I need it. And then there's you, Miz. You suck. Just a really good, simple put down. You're the most impotent dork in the locker room. They get into it. Knight tries for the BFT, but Miz escapes. And then the SmackDown GM comes out, I can't remember what his name is, and says, well, let's have a bare knuckle fight then.
I mean, this was piss weak. Relatively well delivered in places. Like, a lot of this was real bad. Nakamura could have done what Drew did in the first segment, like, I'll be on my way, because he just wasn't featured once the two of them got on each other's faces. And I understand that. That's the idea is, the heat is magically here now, and if they're going to fight Nakamura, first they've got to get through each other and stuff. But at work cost, like, if LA Knight gets by the Miz, what the hell are we doing here? Then what? He gets another run at Nakamura in another do-over of this US title fouad that wasn't good the first time.
Yeah, I don't understand what the strategy has been here. Like, I said at the time, I don't mind LA Knight losing this, because you do it, put it on Shinsuke to put it on someone exciting, either in the build to or at WrestleMania. The plan appears to have been LA Knight loses to Shinsuke, question mark, LA Knight wins it back.
Doesn't feel like a plan, does it?
No.
Nobody's rooting. Like, people were laughing at some of the lines here, but nobody is rooting with all the heart and soul for LA Knight to win that belt back.
No.
So,
no one's booking Shinsuke as a US champion at WrestleMania. Nope. Like, we haven't even mentioned him.
Nope, all bad.
Got a great entrance, though.
Yeah, they've managed to figure out a way to keep his music. It's like Marge Simpson's dress in The Simpsons, man. They just, like, stitch it a couple of different ways. It's like, wow, cool new theme. Same one, just tweaks it a bit. I just can't be arsed.
So they get into it. They have the match immediately. At one point, Knight backdrops Miz to the floor and smashes his head against the announcer's table, but distracts himself. Joy jacking with Shinsuke, and obviously Miz takes over and sends LA Knight into the ring stairs. We go to break. Knight comes back with a neck breaker and a power slam. Big elbow. But Miz trips up Knight on the middle turnbuckle. Avalanche clothesline. Flatliner for another two. He goes for the skull-crushing finale. Knight drops out of it, cradles him. Miz hits that DDT for a near fall. But then Knight hits the BFT out of nowhere and then finishes it off with that awesome elbow where he jumps up onto the top rope for the 1, 2, 3. He has a stare down with Nakamura afterwards.
He's getting that finish, that elbow over as a finisher, isn't he? He did it to Cena at the Rumble over top of AJ Styles. I can't remember, or vice versa maybe. But and that's not the worst thing because he's always going to be accused of not having the moves with a Z, and that's a pretty cool one. There's now to this, and it was informed by the
this
segment.
This was the lull of the show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was informed by the segment having nothing to it either, and just this division feeling cold. It's so little good to say, which is ironic because we talk about LA Knight, and he makes the things he says good. And
he salvaged it from a very bad situation.
He's attempting to elevate bad material here.
We're in the back with Nia Jax and Candice LeRae ahead of Nia facing Tiff later on for the world title. Alexa Bliss references their past together, says, WrestleMania, could all come together.
Do you remember Nia's message, obviously, after finally defeating Alexa Bliss? Because Alexa Bliss has been a horrible bully in that that storyline. Nia's message of positivity about what to do in situations of bullying. You get bigger and you kick their ass and become the bully yourself.
Oh.
So, there you go. Tears in the crowd.
Folks.
That's so inspirational.
Where's
Become a bully, got it.
Oh, got it, right, yeah.
Yeah. But
don't back down, bully down.
The big thing here, of course, was the
Yeah.
Wyatt Six are targeting Alexa Bliss.
Targeting or recruiting or what? Like maybe, or at least they're after Lily. Recruiting Lily. I've been watching some Lily content.
Wyatt Six wants Lily.
I'm watching some Lily stuff. You do not remember how bad Lily was. I was watching the match where it was a Raw one, and I think it was a Raw one, and it cuts to the corner where the Lily doll is. You know what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
And they go hard on her face, and it just like, the Lily doll's there like, whatever, the emoji face, and then it goes, and I think it's Bianca Belair. Somebody's, oh, Jesus Christ, the doll winked at me.
Which you would.
Which you would, because I was the doll winking at you. And then Alexa Bliss gets the win.
I had a flashback over the weekend as well. Someone tweeted back to one of Brian's brilliant Photoshops about the good take hat, which I haven't thought about for about 5 years.
I haven't thought about the good take hat in the longest time, yeah. I mean, you've been wearing it without wearing it, because all your takes are good.
Thank you.
Maybe that's how... Do you become an OTJ after spending a certain amount of time with the good take hat?
Yeah, it just seeps in.
Yeah. And that's now why you've got no cap, because it's just all truth.
That's what people say, don't they?
Yeah, all makes sense. It's all good stuff.
After the break, we see Miz walking in the back, and Andrade walks up to him and says, I can teach you something if you need some help. Miz is pissed off, obviously. Mello walks up, no one respects us. Miz is like, you're right. Me, you should be a team. Mello don't Miz. And even Mello's like, no, you're right, mate. Just funny.
Just a Miz having to walk through the corridor of your best of 7 boys doing nout. You guys will get me on the right track, because after all you two did,
you're here.
I mean, you guys will get me on the right track.
Then Mello faced R-Truth, set up by Hayes apologising that he showed Tozawa that I'm him, and Drew said, no, you're not. You can't, Mello. Funny.
This segment was overdue. As soon as I'm watching it, he said, because I'm him and I knew exactly where it was going, I was like, why did they not book this years ago? When somebody's calling themselves him, R-Truth needs to misunderstand that.
R-Truth channeled his inner John Cena for a bit, but Hayes, after jumping Truth, by the way, came back with a super kick and got out of an attitude adjustment and hit the nothing but net off the top for the 1-2-3.
Yeah, fine. Mello's got a winning streak over all the people he's permitted to beat.
Yes.
On SmackDown.
Then we got that awesome Street Profits promo. They should be mad after everyone made them liars. Once Dawkins is fully cleared, they'll put everyone else in the dirt. Ford makes a meme of himself in the best possible way. I love it! Love the passion! Everyone's going to know their anger and frustration. They've been acting happy while nothing's really okay. They're going to show the world, Lord have mercy on their souls, because the Prophets want the smoke.
Do you know why the Street Profits don't get pushed or enough love from the creative team?
I can take a guess.
Racism. Because there is simply no justification beyond some form of prejudice for these men not getting the world.
Yeah.
They are fantastic. This was excellent. Again, the turn made so little sense at the Royal Rumble, it required Michael Cole to bollock the other announcers into don't you get the story? No. Well, let me tell you the long story.
Yeah.
In these promos, in any opportunity, in the matches, in a half-baked stable with Bobby Lashley, it has been, 4 years since they've been tag team champions?
Something like that, yeah.
And this injury is relatively new. Like, that doesn't explain all the time they've been without gold and without focus, basically, direction of any kind. They lost a match.
They're always good nearly men for the Bloodline, yeah.
They lost a match to the Usos, which stopped them getting a title shot until the Usos lost the belts. And yes, the Usos had that long run. What happened on the night after Kevin and Owens dethroned the Usos?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, on the Raw after WrestleMania. You were there.
Yeah.
The Raw after WrestleMania, the Street Profits are like, oh, we're out of a title shot, Jill. Can we have a title shot? Babyfaces, Zayn and Owens. Yes. And they beat them. Like, it has been an absolute piss take what has happened to the Street Profits. And, like, this feels a bit AEW, this, isn't it? We may be back.
Yeah.
Like, this feels really
They're
good.
winning the titles at WrestleMania. I'd put my house on it.
They're winning the title somewhere because they're the only thing that are going to make the division cool and interesting again.
Yeah, it's not quite the make good, but tag title win at WrestleMania, considering the moments they've had there before. WrestleMania! And the awesome Dawkins spot in that. What was it called? Not a gauntlet.
Oh, the showcase match. When he floored Braun Strowman.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
But first, Pretty Deadly have got a title match next week, in fact.
Yes, boy.
They feel great. They're done being underestimated. DIY wondering, they're not angry, just disappointed. I love their weird mind games.
I'm sort of into this, yeah.
They sort of gaslight them here. But Ciampa promises that their dreams are going to die next week, and then they will get their moment of silence.
No finish, and then we drag it out to the UK date as well. Maybe. But then SmackDown wouldn't book Screwy finishing a title match, would they?
We're about to get to the title match. Before that, we got Kevin Owens in his car that we mentioned, and then Charlotte Flair's sitting backstage to watch this match. It is the title match. Tiffany Stratton defending against Nia Jax, WWE Women's Championship. Another brilliant showing here from Tiffany Stratton as a babyface. She gets ragdolled all over the place by Nia Jax at the beginning. She cartwheels out of a throw, but gets caught with a pop-up headbutt. And Jax tries to do that hip attack against the ring post, but Stratton escapes and hits a handspring elbow. But Jax always keeps catching her, gets her with a Samoan drop for a near fall. There's a slam and a leg drop for another 2. She goes for another hip attack against the ring post, but this time Tiffany can't get out of the way. She drops her, hits an elbow, does Nia Jax for a near fall. We go to a break, we come back. Stratton fires back up, goes for a second handspring elbow, and Stratton just gets caught by Jax. Dumped down, dropped a leg on her, another 2 count. She sets up for a super Samoan drop, but Stratton slips free, trips her up, and hits a double stomp off the top. That awkward, I always think of Del Rio, the weird spot that should never be a finish because it's too convoluted.
Why coming up, yeah.
Stratton goes up top, Jax trips her, but gets her and does hit the super Samoan drop for a great 2 count. She also dropped a leg off the middle rope for a 2 as Charlotte's watching on from backstage. When we come back from another break, Stratton hits a massive moonsault to the floor, a swanton bomb in the ring for 2. Tries to get Jax up herself, but gets flattened. And Jax just laughs and hits a banzai drop. But Stratton gets out of the way of that. Goes to the prettiest moonsault ever. This is when Candice LeRae runs in for a DQ. Grabs a chair. But who saves Tiffany Stratton? But Trish Stratus jumping over the barricade to make the save, but she gets squished in the corner by Nia Jax. And Jax also hits a leg drop on Tiffany Stratton as the officials break all this up. I'll talk about what happened with Nia, Candice, and Tiff and Trish in a second, because after that, out comes Charlotte Flair. They know what they're doing with her now. Tiffy, wake up, Tiffy. It's still Tiffy time. The Queen chooses you.
Oh,
I'll see you at WrestleMania. Yes!
Like, loads more good than bad here. Couple of little things I think it's important to pick up on. The first, I would say, 2 or 3 minutes of this match, it was as if, considering what these characters are and the story that led us here, it was like they never met. Like, I was really worried for it because I've kind of been fighting for this title with Nia Jax. I've been defending her in that staff room, and especially on TV. And I was just, this is going to be one of them nights. And then, no, it really came together. And more importantly than that, it always matters a bit. The fans were really into it.
Yeah.
Again, you can really tell the character work that's been done with a lot of these women on SmackDown because the audience were with it and they were receptive to Tiffany Stratton as a babyface. Again, not for the first time. And tonight was ultimately the key litmus test for that because of what was going to happen with Charlotte Flair afterwards. There was a point, we have to flag it up, like the Annihilator, where like Tiffany would be out of the ring about like half an hour when Nia went for it, and you're like, what are you going for that for? She's gone. Where's all opponent gone? Like, she left. But like, so again, just little miscommunications that occasionally broke the immersion. But again, for the building, didn't seem to. and Tiffany doing the babyface comebacks constantly, that fighting from underneath stuff. It's like booking 101. It's wrestling 101 of like how to get people over as a babyface. You put them against a monster. You try and have them like evade and outwit and just like have the tactical approach, nail down all that sort of stuff. God damn it, I wish they'd given me a finish. I don't think a pinfall on Nia Jax would have hurt the build to Elimination Chamber. I thought that was a little bit cowardly. Even though you're going to do what you're going to do. If nothing else, why not have her act out in like defiance of stubbornness that she'd been beaten by going nuts?
Yeah,
like
catch her with a roll up, maybe not like a definitive.
It's still a move.
Moonsault ever.
Still a wrestling move. So I kind of
Tony Storm just won the world title.
Absolutely. Like I really wish they'd shown a bit more commitment to the bit there, but they're going to do it at Elimination Chamber in a lovely bit of matchmaking.
There was
lovely.
There was a series of things here that I was like consecutively punching the air for watching this on Saturday night. It was in my house. You had the Kevin Owens thing, great. People who are just overreacting. Oh, they're blowing it up at Canada. Well, maybe they want to, but whatever. Then this match, then the Charlotte announcement, perfect, right call.
Because Tiffany Stratton had about like 20 things to get to, didn't she?
Yeah.
Right, here's what's going on in your life.
Trish makes the save as well, which we'll get back to in a second. Then we cut to the back and we do the Jade Cargill, it's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez thing. Oh, yes, they've not forgotten about that. That's brilliant. And then we cut backstage, and there is Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. What a team. They are going to team up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae at Elimination Chamber. It's going to be Tiffy and Trisha time.
Oh, my God.
I am glad they have scaled back the Tiffy time stuff because she's babyface and those promos were insufferable. But Trishy Time is a pretty good team name for them for one night in Canada. And they'll probably have matched in Canadian flag gear.
It's tea time.
Tea time.
Would it be tea time for us in the UK when this goes? No, it'll be a weird time still, won't it?
Yeah, Canada's about the same as America.
Damn you and your weird clocks.
I suppose unless you watch it the next day because it's really easily accessible on Netflix. The Ved.
I won't be. I'll be watching it live despite the fact it's one of my best friend's 40th birthdays. Come on, everyone, gather around. We're watching Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber starting, guys. Come on. You want to see some nice shots of Toronto and some great wrestling action?
His son's really got into
WWE, by the way. So. Let him stay up late.
Yeah, he's going to watch it.
Yeah. Like this match, didn't expect it, didn't see it coming. A really good use of Trish Stratus. We're going to talk about Grand Slam and how effective it was at like bringing in as many Oceanic.
Yes.
That kind of catches New Zealand as well, doesn't it? Oceanic wrestlers as possible for that card. You like deal, look like the local audience are willing to back so many people from their area. Like again, Owens and Zayn might be Montreal, but they're Canadian for all intents and purposes. Trish Stratus, Toronto. She's always worn that proudly, so it's going to be a cool night for Tiffany Stratton to get that rub. Presumably, I'd say double down on the heat for Charlotte Flair and have a deck the pair of them after the match or something. But either way, it's good matchmaking for that show as well.
We see Drew. There's a video package for like Jay and Gunther and the cards turning around.
Oh my God.
Las Vegas. And they're both watching it. Drew's like, look at your brother there, eh? I mean, you're crap. You're the crap brother, of course. Because it could have been you going to the Elimination Chamber, then going on to brother and world title. No, it's me. I beat you. But hey, if you're really disappointed about how terrible your career is, at least you're married up. What a knobhead.
Yeah.
And he gets super kick for his troubles, and now the match is set for next week along with that tag title match.
I like the step away and super kick, but it's like when we always pick on how there's no, literally like a meter away. He's close enough to drill him with a super kick. I like that.
Drew openly acknowledging, I'm a bit of a knobhead. I'm a right wanker, me. But yeah, the best thing you've got about you is your other half. So
one of our favourite traits, I'm a right wanker, me. The heel play.
Best thing you've got about you is your other half. Who is his other half again? Jimmy's.
That's Naomi.
Main event time.
Just a note for audio listeners only, that's disdain and not like Booker T perversion noises.
No, save that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We get the main event, though, not the world title match. It was this awesome triple threat to determine the person heading to the Elimination Chamber out of Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu, and Braun Strowman, who also cut a great promo reminding everyone that he's a former world champion and he's going to run through everyone.
Let me think of you doing your Braun Strowman, how animated he was. You know, like when you do the, was it last minute rumors or something like that, and you had a very specific, because a shot of old Braun. We just scream it.
Bro, that one.
Yeah.
No. They used to do get these hands.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
He's right.
You get these hands.
That's become your voice, everything. It's broken you. That stacks.
This was everything I hoped for and more. I loved this triple threat. If they're going to do loads of triple threats at WrestleMania, I'm kind of all right with it after this, because this was incredible, as anticipated. 3 massive lads that just stare at each other and start knocking 7 bells out of each other. Priest and Fatu team up to knock Strowman to the floor with a double shoulder block. They go one-on-one for a bit, and then Strowman just runs in and takes them both out with a huge crossbody, and then clotheslines them both to the floor. We go to a break, come back. Strowman pulls Fatu out of the ring and throws him against the boards. So Fatu comes back because he's no-selling everything. Sends Strowman into the ring steps, so goes back in after Damian Priest. Priest hits him with an elbow strike and a spinning heel kick. Priest knocks Strowman off the apron with a super kick. Tries to do that rope walk thing that he does on Fatu, but as he stood there about to jump off, Strowman just jumps up and grabs up and chokes him. Fatu pulls Priest into a Samoan drop, but then just casually hits a swanton onto Priest for a near fall. He goes for another Samoan drop, does Fatu, but Priest escapes. Fatu, just remember what this spot is. Sets up Priest for a superplex. Strowman runs in, and they do the sort of Tower of Doom spot. I was genuinely surprised the ring didn't break. It was awesome. The crowd loving it. They're swearing. USA are trying to censor it. Netflix don't know what's going on. Yeah. Strowman hits Fatu with clotheslines. Massive back body drop. Fatu's out to the floor. Priest hits him with a flatliner against the commentary table. Strowman then pounces Priest over the table and chokes Fatu onto it, and it does not budge. And Wade brilliantly notes, we've reinforced the table for that tonight. Go back into the ring, and Fatu's killing Strowman with hip attacks. Gets a chair, wraps it around his head. He's going to literally kill him. But Strowman hops up and kicks him with a boot. Wraps the chair around Fatu. Tournament's fair play. Wraps the chair around Fatu's neck. But before he can attack him, who appears but Solo Sikoa, who hits Strowman with a Samoan spike. He's dressed in all black. Where have we seen that before? This brings out Cody Rhodes. It's all going on. I'm bloody loving this. To cut him off. There's Tamatang. Yeah, to cut him off. But Sikoa accidentally spikes Tonga. Fatu, what the bloody hell are you doing, Solo? That's what he says. Yep. That gives Priest the opportunity to clothesline Fatu into the timekeeper's area. Rhodes hits Sikoa with a crossroads. Back in the ring, it looks like Strowman's going to win and punch his ticket to the Elimination Chamber with a power slam, but Priest slides out of it. South of Heaven, 1, 2, 3. Post-match, there's a nice handshake as both Cody and Damian look up at that WrestleMania sign.
Love this. What's that formula that you and Sidge came up with a couple of years ago where, it's 5 and above.
Yes.
And these matches can't miss.
5 men and above, yeah. All women, yeah.
Well, apparently it's 3. Yes. One of the men is Jacob Fatu because he must have the energy of the extra two that you need. This played out like one of them 5/multi-person matches where you're normally waiting for the next cool spot to happen because of Jacob Fatu's movement.
Yeah.
Priest's actual aura that he had as this guy that felt like the top star in there. And Braun Strowman's commitment to the bit, as he often can do, just throwing himself into these men's bodies as if it's a kid throwing themselves into a ball pool at a soft play. This was so fun to watch. And then when we hit the obvious finishing stretch with all the run-ins, convoluted in the extreme, but what a fun way to arrive at the finish of Damian Priest winning. I couldn't have loved we were trying
to work out how they were going to do it.
Yeah, it's sequencing, it's order of events. I couldn't have loved it all play out stage by stage more. Solo gives Jacob the nod that I'm here for you, then makes the mistake, which causes the Jacob distraction. Then, Cody's out there already. He's been drawn out by the first attacks. Then he gets to do the bit that actually looks like he might have, their number once and for all. But in the meantime, Damian Priest getting to do the South of Heaven on something like a Braun Strowman.
Went up for it well, didn't he?
Yeah. So that looks tremendous. And then he has this moment of respect and looking at the sign with Cody. He's not going to win it. But, why not platform him like this on the night when you've got the chance? They've got now... there was the implied kind of babyface alliance, which could come in really handy for Cody Rhodes because he needs friends over on SmackDown at the moment because with friends like Drew McIntyre, who needs enemies. So now he's got one in Damian Priest. So that little instant alliance, I just thought this was tremendous, sports entertainment booking. And not that you would have had a screwy finish at all, but it was just bold to throw Jacob Fatu in a match like this and then actually think about how you get him out of it.
I couldn't believe people were like, buried Jacob Fatu, not putting him in the chamber.
People haven't said that, have they?
Yeah, or maybe you didn't want to put him in the chamber because he can't. I know people are saying, well, just have Jacob Fatu win. Right, it's definitely either Punk or Cena who's winning that. So everyone else is eating a loss in that chamber. So don't have Fatu in it, especially if you can avoid him getting beaten anyway. Like, I know he's been beaten, but he's not ever been beaten, has he?
There's a weird thing.
It's always like his tag partner gets beat or whatever.
Yeah, there's a weird thing at the moment. And I get it. Some people like we're all in our 30s, but some people are even younger than that. And like I keep saying, the one that really makes me laugh is Rhea Hogan. Like some people genuinely believe any defeat means so and so has been buried, and I think this is a little bit of that. And obviously because it's Twitter or X or wherever, you're hearing or seeing every single opinion, and some people might have literally never seen their favourite wrestler lose a match before and have just learned the word, but you genuinely don't know you could be engaging with that. Because, I mean, in this case, they're just dead wrong.
But a brilliant end to a really enjoyable episode of SmackDown. Let us know your thoughts on it and Gladiators in the comments or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, you can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow our brilliant and long-suffering producer, Adam Nicholas, at...
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcast. The Raw preview is available right now, and we'll be back later on today with the Grand Slam Australia review. But for now, this has been the SmackDown review. My thanks to Michael Hamflett. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.